Being that we're just days away from the midterm elections, a lot of heavy money is being poured into Democratic coffers, a lot of dark money. And we're not talking just Soros. I'm Jazz Borganzo, and this is what's next.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Jazz Borganzo here, another episode of What's Next. Your always, your daily dose of common sense and facts. You got the midterm elections. We are just 32 days away from the shift of power, which is inevitable. But how big of a shift? We've heard numbers as high as 72 seats, which are up for grabs, to as low as 30 seats. But then again, you've had those like the Kevin McCarthy's and the Mitch McConnells who really don't give a fuck about you. I mean, you, Mr. Conservative, Miss Conservative, really don't care. It's about them holding on to power. It all depends on how many. But as long as you have them and those like, Dan Crenshaw, Mr. Eye Patch, it really doesn't matter about the numbers. Democrats are a +7 right now. All you need is one. But then again, you would rather have the 30 or the 40 or the 50 or so on. With that being said, the Democrats are loading up for bear. You got heavy donors stepping in, like George Soros, but then you have others stepping in, considered dark money, that you may not know about. But they are loading up as well. And I mean, they are really loading up to make sure that they hold on the power, because if it shifts, Dementia Joe will be worthless. Yeah, well, he's already worthless, but you know what I mean. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Alex Marlow, LinkedIn billionaire Reid Hoffman's dark money behind clandestine Good Information Foundation group accused of election meddling. 2 weeks ago, attorney and legal commentator Preston Moore posted a video saying that he was offered but did not accept hundreds of dollars from a group to attack Donald Trump and, of course, Trump Republicans. The group that solicited Moore is called the Good Information Foundation, and presumably, if Moore is telling the truth, this is common practice for them. Excuse me. Moore told Breitbart, "They wanted me to use fear to manipulate people into voting blue or not into voting Trump. And when they are given examples of things that they wanted me to say, don't say Trump and his allies, say Trump Republicans." It became really clear that this was about putting out information, disinformation, to impact the midterms. To impact midterms. It's that brazen, apparently. This appears to be a violation of federal law that prohibits 501c organizations from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening any political campaign. This case seems like blatant abuse of our tax code. I was personally compelled to file a complaint with the IRS about the group. The, quote, Good Information Foundation, is according to a website, is a nonprofit arm of the Good Information, Inc., which describes itself as a public benefit corporation committed to restoring social trust, should I say, and strengthening democracy by investing in solutions that counter disinformation and increase the flow of good information online. That is their official website. The Good Information Foundation is a 501c or nonprofit founded in 2021 to tackle growing information crisis in America that is undermining social trust, harming public health, and damaging our democracy. And once again, I must reiterate, we are a republic with voter representation, i.e. democratic. Excuse me. It's not really apparent from their website who is running the organization. They do not list board members, leadership, or key staff. Tom Fenton told me on the radio show, Breitbart News Daily. With the shadowy nature of this nonprofit is not illegal, but it is murky and unusual. What's more, they were founded recently, so there is minimal public publicity available financially regarding their information. What is being reported, however, is that Good Information, Inc. is not only backed by far-left billionaire activist George Soros, surprised, but also LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman. Hoffman is a 55-year-old billionaire who helped launch PayPal. And we all know how wonderful PayPal is to conservatives and libertarians, co-founding LinkedIn in 2002. He has since fashioned himself as a Democratic megadonor, though his activities are largely hidden from public view. Gee, I wonder why. He is one of the key framers of the modern political infrastructure in contouring the current American landscape by allowing the super wealthy to use nonprofits and lenient disclosure laws to make large political contributions in relatively obscurity. Tactically, he embraces both disingenuous and censorious, as well as the Chinese Communist Party, the wonderful Chi-Coms. He is one part Soros, one part Michael Bloomberg, and one part Lauren Powell Jobs. Of course, the wife of late Steve Jobs of Apple. But Hoffman's shady political activity doesn't end there. He also funded a series of pro-Doug Jones ads in Alabama that were modeled on the much decried Russian propaganda peddled on Facebook and Twitter in 2016. The project operators posed as conservative Alabamians on Facebook and tried to use the platform to divide Republicans, pushing them towards a write-in candidate and away from Roy Moore, the GOP's nominee for Senate. They also ran a scheme, according to the New York Times, to link Moore campaign to thousands of Russian accounts that suddenly began following a Republican candidate on Twitter, a development that drew national media attention. Of course it did. We orchestrated and elaborated a false flag operation that planted the idea that Moore campaign was amplified on social media by Russian botnet, the internal report on the project, according to the New York Times. The tactics were so dirty that Hoffman ultimately apologized after public exposure, of course. Still being part of the effort to swing the election with disinformation campaign that is modeled after tactics by Putin's Russian and striking item to have one's resume. Make no mistake, Hoffman cares deeply about important globalist issues. He sits on the board of CZ BioHub, the biomedical arm of Chan Zuckerberg initiative. Of course, we're talking about Mr. Zuckerberg himself and his wife. The group is named for Priscilla Chan, of course, the wife of Mark Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg himself. Hoffman also advises the left-wing Berger Institute, which runs a research center for the artificial intelligence and life sciences in Peking, China University. Bergeron organizes regular Understanding China meetings with President Xi Jinping, according to their own website. They previously partnered with Washington Post, shocker, on efforts to gaslight English-speaking world under threat of CCP by advancing claims like America has little to fear from a China-centered world. It goes on a little bit further, but I think you pretty much get where I'm going here. So this easily could have been a 20-minute video, but there's a lot more to it. But at the end of the day, you got them bearing down. So not just Soros, who is, of course, your usual suspect, but now you got this Humpty Dumpty clown, Hoffman, who's got a lot of pull. So it's not just grassroots Republicans that have to be worried. You got to have you have established Republicans who also better be worried. The rhinos not so much, because they kiss the ass, you know, like I said previously regarding McConnell and Kevin McCarthy and of course Eye Patch McCain and others. But true conservatives, those in the framework of a Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Lauren Boebert, for the most part, a Ted Cruz, a Mark Rubio, a Rand Paul, those are the ones that need to get into Congress. Those are the ones that can make real change. Because just by sheer numbers alone, it's not going to do it. But as long as you have these knuckleheads in the GOP shooting themselves in the foot every time when they are handed a platinum platter to take Congress back, both the House and the Senate, I want to be optimistic, but got to be realistic as well. With that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.